Have you ever wondered why some people who absolutely hate their jobs stay in there for 5, 10, 15, 20 years? You got people that are really like take massive risks that you would never ever imagine doing and just kind of live life a bit more on the edge. Or you've got people that like never seem really settled, or some that are completely obsessed with status and material possessions. I bet some of us like know someone in every one of those categories, and we also may put ourselves in one of those categories too. And it's something that's always kind of intrigued me because, you know, for example, when I've like worked in corporate and I ask people like how long they've been there, and oh, you must really enjoy your job then if you've been there for so long, and that I have never been met with the answer like, oh yeah, like I love it. Absolutely not. It's always like, oh no, absolutely hate it. I'm part of the furniture now. Like, you know, I'm just here to stay. It pays the bills. Always, it just pays the bills. I think, oh my goodness, there is no way I would do a job I absolutely hated for years. Just no way on this planet. And so it's always like intrigued me as to why people would do that. And when I went to Unleash the Power Within, like my answers got met. Like I finally understood why people do these crazy things. And it's all down to 6 basic human needs. And I wonder like how many of us actually know, like out of those 6, like which are the ones that are like driving us and driving our behavior, and how many of us have actually like taken the time to really understand that, because it's such an important like lesson. And for us, we should definitely like know this information to know like what it is that's driving us and why we do certain things. And I just kind of wanted to spend today with you to go through these things to raise your awareness. And then I've got a little exercise at the end, so you can kind of really get the most out of it. So stay tuned to the end, and I will kind of give you like kind of the main tips to kind of take that forward. And yeah, like use those tools moving forward to literally transform your life and like make a difference. So what I want you to do is really understand like what's truly driving you. Let's unlock those answers together and like create lasting change in every area of your life. So if you are someone that wants to create lasting change in any area of your life, in any aspect, then stay tuned. And I am here to like answer those questions for you. So the first need is certainty. So that's like where you're driven by, you know, having a roof over your head, having food on the table, and that's kind of where the need, where people stay in a job that they absolutely hate because they need to pay the bills. So that's where certainty lies. The second is variety. So you seek variety through different things. That could be through different foods or experiences or travel, different activities. It could be different entertainment. The third is significance. So that's where people are seeking approval through like other people or through themselves. And that's usually like in the way that they dress, the car that they drive, like their status, like what kind of job that they do. Number 4 is connection. So that's like friendships, community, relationships, faith. And then we've got number 5, which is growth. So that's a desire to always kind of make progress, and they're feeling like there's always more to learn, there's always more money to make, or a better car or house to have, or like more books to read. And then 6 is contribution. So that's the need to like serve the greater good. And this is ultimately the secret to the joy that so many of us want to have in our lives. And what I want you to do is, out of those 6, which is certainty, variety, significance, connection, growth, and contribution, which 2 human needs have you been valuing the most? And be really, really honest with yourself and like figure out like what it is that has been driving you. And when I did this exercise, I realized for me, it was significance and variety. So I love like different experiences. Like I always want to be doing new things. I always want to try different things, whether that's different cuisines or I want to go to like different places. I hate going to the same place all the time. I'm very, very fortunate that my parents have a really lovely second home in Wales, and my family absolutely love it. And my dad's always really annoyed at me because I don't go down there very often, and that's simply because I seek variety. Like, there's so many places to see in the world, and that's like such an important thing for me. So sorry, Dad. But yeah, that's just a kind of example. And then significance. You know, I like many of us, like, I like the validation. If people say that I have a really good lifestyle or do really cool things or go on nice holidays, like, I kind of like that. I like having a nice car and living in a nice area, all those type of things. And you know, I definitely like quality over quantity, as you all know. But yeah, I've definitely, when I was going through it, like, I recognised that significance and variety are the things that have driven me. And the next question is, what are the consequences, positive and negative, of you valuing those two, like, basic human needs? And that's a really interesting one. So I absolutely definitely do this exercise, okay, because it's such an eye-opener. Because obviously we all think we're great and like doing the best, and yeah, like when you start getting down to the nitty-gritty, you're like, oh, okay. So for me, I'm gonna be really honest here. So we're gonna go over the positives first. So for me, the positives were like experience, like once in a lifetime moments. You kind of get like that buzz, don't you, when like people are giving you like praise and saying like all these great things about you. You know, the joy, happiness, like having these once in a lifetime moments are such, like, it's such a huge thing for me. Like, when I look back on my life, like, I want to be able to be like, oh my goodness, do you remember when we did that, or when we did this? And oh, that definitely fuels me. But I realised when I started to look at the negative side of things, it's actually really had a negative impact on my financial stability. I've spent an awful lot of money, sometimes of which I've never had, and like, I'll do anything to kind of like make these experiences like happen. And yeah, that's definitely had an impact there. And then sometimes I kind of feel like I'm never really content. Like, I always feel like I need to be on to the next thing and the next thing. And yeah, like, I just have this constant thirst, and it never kind of gets like fulfilled by anything else. So it's like this constant want and need and making lists, and yeah, like never having that like true satisfaction. So like I said, it's a real eye-opener. And then the next question I want to ask you is, what do your top 2 needs need to be for your life to transform? Now, when I put this, it's really interesting because I wonder how many of us will have the same 2 basic needs at the beginning, and then when I ask you that question, how many have the same 2 basic needs? And I am like guarantee that most of us will change our answers. So for me, the top 2 needs turned out to be growth and contribution. And when I was looking at the positives and negatives, there were no negatives. And let's move on to like my next question. If you made that change, what would transform in your life? And I put fulfillment, being purpose-led, making a difference, financial freedom, freedom from the corporate world. Like, if I think about the amount of money I've spent, like, I could have spent that on a life coach and like freed myself from the corporate 9 to 5, which I'm going to be honest, I don't particularly love. So when I think about that and the things I've actually sacrificed to have all these experiences and do all these amazing things, yeah, that's made me like really think about things and completely change my perspective, and made me really think, okay, like, what is really, really important? Because yeah, sometimes it is all about immediate gratification, and that's my biggest focus, is like changing it to delayed gratification and really focusing on the future and looking at it in terms of decades rather than months or years. And just like, yeah, just thinking about what's going to have the biggest impact on my entire life. Because, you know, when we just focus on the immediate and what's in front of us, that's when like we can spend 20, 30 years in a job that we absolutely hate. And remember, we have one life, and it's our duty to like to fulfill it to like our absolute best and to our potential. So I just wanted to share that with you today, because it's one of those that is such an eye-opener when you do this activity and this exercise. And so I just want you to take some time this evening and literally it will take like 10-15 minutes of your time. So that just means you just need to stop watching Netflix just for 10-15 minutes. And honestly, it literally just shakes things up for you and makes you first raising that awareness, which I always want to do, but also gets you to kind of make that change, to make that transformation. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I hope you've really enjoyed this video and it's really resonated. As always, please like and subscribe, and always leave your comments. I'm always interested to see what you guys say, and share with me what your needs were, and what when I asked you about what needs you need to have to transform your life, what they changed to. Because again, I want to share all this information and to kind of have that community and to grow together. So once again, thank you so much for being here. I am sending you so much love and so much blessings. Hope you're having the most wonderful weekend, and I will be back again tomorrow.